I'm not too sure if this is being broadcast, so I'm gonna cruise over. I'm gonna check my phone real quick, and let's see here. All right, we're I'm live. There we go. I'm live. Okay, now that I know we're live, I got this crazy cat in my lap. And okay, so the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to hit Control-Alt-T on the keyboard. And we're going to sling this over here. All right, we're working in, okay, that's the wrong. So we're going to exit out of there. I need to put the focus, excuse me, little cat. I got this little kitten, she's crazy. Okay, so now that our focus is where it needs to be, I'm going to open up a document real quick. Alright. So, again, my apologies. So we're working in Linux Mint LMDE right now. This is actually a virtual machine inside of a VirtualBox. And so we're going to hit Control-Alt-T on the keyboard, and that opens up our terminal. Now, I don't know if anybody who watches this is going to be familiar with the terminal. So I'm going to do a quick little run through on the terminal, or in the terminal rather, not on it. So you've never been here before. Where are you? So you type PWD. That means present working directory, and that shows you where you are. You're in the Mint directory, of the home directory, of the root directory. So if you read it going from right to left, you're going to see Mint is contained in home. Home is contained in root. That very first / that you see to the left of home, to the left of the H, that signifies the root. Root being the beginning. You know, like picture a tree. The root is underground, the trunk is above ground, the branches are in the air. Alright, cool. So, what files are here? So I type ls. What that means is list. So you're going to notice that we have 3 different colors here. We have some words that are written in blue. We have some words that are written in red. We have some that are written in green. Why? Well, the blue are directories, or if you're a Windows user, they're files. The red are archive files. Archive being like a zip, something along those lines. The green is a binary folder. You'll notice that it begins, now this is my naming convention, but you'll notice setup, okay, and then right here the file extension is .sh, which is shell. So that's a binary file. That's why it's green. So what do we want to do from here? Well, if we want to navigate, if we want to look at, we'll say, downloads, how do I do that? Well, you change directory to downloads and you hit enter. Now you're in your downloads folder. Well, how do I see what's in it? You list it out. We have one file. It's an archive file. Now, how do we look at that? That's another question. Can we do this? Can we say tar xf what is it? xfrc, I think. hwloc 2.12.2 .tar.gz. Okay, so let's try this. Let's just hit the up arrow. Okay, we'll come home. Okay, so let's okay. You know what happened right here is we're gonna have another file directory. Well, see it? That's because we unzipped it. Now if we want to see what's in it, we change directory hwloc 2.12.2. Okay, what's in it? We got a lot of stuff. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. But it will. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's we're gonna go back to root. Now we're gonna clear. Okay, now as I mentioned earlier, there's an issue with snort. It's not really running properly, and we're going to remove it and start all over again. In case you don't know, snort is a, let me see here, it's a network intrusion detection service. It's also IPS. So let's come over here and we're going to talk snort.org. Okay, this is an awesome program and there's a lot to it, and in the last couple of videos I've kind of brought it up a little bit, but here it is. This is where you can learn about snort, but we're gonna do something. We're gonna take the long way home. So we're gonna come back to our terminal. We don't need that. So let's see here. Where is snort? Okay. Snort is everywhere. We notice that it's in the etc folder, it's in the user folder, and it's in the var folder. Well, since this is kind of a crash course on the Linux terminal, we're gonna do something real quick. We're gonna clear. Remember, when your screen gets long and you want to clear it, just type clear. But we're going to do that again. We're going to say locate snort. Okay. Clear. Now, let's see here. Let's try locate snort. I have no idea if this is going to work. Look at that. We got a little bit different results there, didn't we? So, you can see. Now, two things I want to say real quick. One, snort is not a hacking tool. It is a defensive tool. The second thing I want to say is that this video is for entertainment purposes only. Much like this little kitten that's sitting on my desk. Okay, so we want to get rid of snort. So let's type sudo apt update, and now remember that double ampersand right there, and that is a conditional statement that is not the same thing as just typing one and like that. That is something different. It's called a conditional operator, if I'm not mistaken. So sudo apt upgrade. We're gonna run this right quick just before we start. No password. My now we're going to let that run a little bit. Shouldn't take long. Yes. What I find interesting is that this is Linux Mint Debian Edition, and it's getting the packages from Ubuntu Nimble Noble. That's Ubuntu 24.04.4. It's a very good, very solid operating system. What I don't like about Linux Mint are two things. This Linux Mint was kind of made for people that are leaving Windows, so there's a lot of Windows like stuff that I don't like. So let's check something out real quick. And Merry Christmas, by the way. That's pretty cool. Hey, kitty. That's my cat on my keyboard. Horrible. You can learn a lot of really interesting things by reading what's happening here. As soon as this gets done, we'll move on. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove and we're going to purge. Purge and remove. So it'll be interesting to purge and remove. So while that's running, what I can do is, if you've never, actually I don't have to do that, I'll come back. I can hit Control Alt T on the keyboard, and that's going to give me another window, or another CLI, another command line editor. So you're going to want to know how to use the help files. See, you get one tip: sudo apt install. Okay, so what is sudo? What does it tell us? Does it tell us anything? Yes. We have a lot of things. What happens if we say sudo u? The option requires an argument. So what if we say sudo user? Now you see this over here, how it's mint at mint. So we always know after the @ sign that it's pointing to a domain, right? So this, chances are, right here is a username. So let's try that. Let's see what happens. Did anything happen? I'm not sure. Okay, so what if we say man sudo? Okay, sudo edit execute a command as another user. We always, in the world of Linux, we always use sudo when we want to execute something as root privilege. You only use it when you need it, and if you create files with it, you're gonna have to have admin privilege to edit those files, and most of the time even view them. But if you notice how I did that, I'll hit Q, quit. So let's clear. Okay, so we typed man, which is like manual, for what? Sudo. And it brought up the page. These are our help files. They're very helpful. So what if we want to know about apt? What is apt? the advanced package tool. So we could say man apt, and boom, it's going to tell us, you know, things we can do with it, our options. What about, can we get man pages on commands? Let's see. No manual entry for CD, which has changed directory. But what if we do this? Okay, invalid. Oh, kitty. So I guess that's one that's just kind of self-explanatory. Means change directory. So we could say change directory downloads. I spelled it wrong. I can't spell. So let's go here. Boom. We go back. Now let's check on. We're gonna hit Alt Tab. We'll check on our other one. Still updating, but it's not far from done. It's 87%. So what are some useful things that you're gonna need to know if you're just getting in to Linux? You're gonna want to know about system control. Okay. But what's the other way? Man. System control. Boom. Okay. Now, what's another one you're going to want to know about? You're going to want to know about journal control. Okay. Clear. Man. So that's how it works when you want to know about something. You type man and then whatever it is that you want to know about, like man system control. Now that was a typo right there that I did, but you should notice something very cool is it gives you a new line when you hit the backslash. So I could say man, and now it only gave me one of them, you know, but that was a typo anyway, you know, so yeah, that was kind of like a 2-for-1 right there. So clear. Alt Tab. Okay, we are at 90% now, so we'll Alt Tab back. What else is cool if you're just now coming to Linux? One of the coolest things is snort, and you're gonna want to know, like, let's see if we can do this. Let's say user help. Okay, so we can't get help on the directory, but let's do some investigation right here, because let's try this. Okay, that's not really what I want right there, so let's try this. There we go. Now you notice that. So this is the file system. This are these are your open source files, and what makes Linux so cool. Now my snort, let's go and look at it. Let's say snort. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do right here is I'm going to hit Control C on the keyboard. We're still over here. We're not going to be able to do anything, so we wait. Now, what else can we do while we wait for this? This cat, this little kitten, she's like a monster. She's a gremlin. Her name is Arvin, and she likes to destroy everything in her path, but she's so cute. Okay, so back to Linux. What did we do? Okay, let's recap. Control Alt T. That's gonna pop up the window, your command line. So we wanna go like that. Now, if you right click and go to preferences, you'll see, you can do a lot of different things. The only thing that I really do is I don't like the block cursor, so I always go to I-beam. Alright, now Python always comes with Linux distribution. So you type in Python. I probably didn't even need to do the Python 3. Let's look at that. See, it doesn't recognize it because Python's been deprecated. So, okay. One cool thing is if we do this, we change the directory environments. We'll get into that. Let's 93%. Okay. What happens if we do, we'll say change directory, boom, 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 boom. Wow, look at that. Root. Now, what if we do this and we say okay, now let's try an absolute path. Okay. So, if we say okay,